board. And once again, thank everyone for joining us. And this is the beginning of our presentation. So can I just get an acknowledgement from anyone that might be able to let me know that you can see that slide? That would be really useful. Kunal or Victor or Shreyas?
No, the slide is not visible.
The slide is not visible. Bear with me then. Okay.
Yeah, it's visible now.
Perfect. Okay. So you can see the headline slide, Kunal.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. So my name is Kirsty Clark. I am an international student recruitment manager. I've worked at Newcastle University Business School since 2019. I love working here. I'll say that front and center. It is one of my best places that I've worked in my very long career. And it's partly because of who I am getting to represent when I'm going out and about and meeting students. I'm very, very proud to represent the business school, but the university as well. It meets my needs when it comes to the same sort of value set that I look for in an employer. And I hope that you would be able to say the same as a student as well. So obviously, a little bit about who we are. We are one of the founding members of the Russell Group. I think you've made an application already to come and study here, so that will be something that you've taken into account in your application process, your research process. We've developed, and I'm proud to say this, we've developed a global network of strategic industry partners and employers. That's really valuable when you consider your progression as a student when it comes to developing those key skills that employers would be looking for after you graduate. So thinking about the soft skills that would complement the academic skills that you're going to be getting while you study with us. We are ranked in the top 130 of many thousands of universities in the world. So that is something that we are proud to talk about. It's an important ranking, and you've also got subject rankings as well that you can consider. We're a very, very diverse university, and it's not just our student community, but it's also our academic community as well. And we're lucky enough to have 3 campuses. So the one that I'm sat in now today in Newcastle, and we have Singapore, Malaysia as well. We have had a long and illustrious career, shall I say, as a university. And so we have over 250,000 alumni, that have come through our doors as students and have gone out into that wider world. And they are creating an impact. We've got some incredibly important alumni who've made an impact on lots of people's lives. And that is something that, our alumni team can share. We did actually have a session with them not so long ago that's available for you to go back and watch on our YouTube channel if that's something that you'd be interested in. And one thing that when I talk about my values and the kind of employer that I want to work for, it's around the sustainability work, corporate social responsibility, circular economy. So the fact that we align ourselves with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is something that is important to me, but we do it through our education, our research, but also the innovative things that we've brought in at the university, whether it's our buildings or whether it's what we bring into what you will study. We're a Russell Group University. I've already mentioned that. We have got a silver award for teaching excellence. This is something that you will not necessarily be able to sort of like feel and hold. It's not tangible, but it's the quality of education that you will gain when you join us. We were awarded the Queen's Anniversary Prize for our gender equality. We were recently increased up to a silver award with the Athena Swan. Very proud that we're a member of the Race Equality Charter, and obviously we've got the Gold Engage watermark, which is the National Coordinating Centre for Public Engagement. So it's something that we are very heavily involved in. Again, the things that you can't necessarily touch, but you will hopefully feel when you come to join us, is the rankings that we have from QS, which I know is a globally recognized ranking system. So for teaching, for facilities, but also for inclusiveness, very, very key for our international students and academics that are coming from around the world. joining us and making their life here. And I will say that it's not just the university that manage that, it is the local people in the region. We are a civic university. We do a lot of work with the community. They are very engaged with what we do, and Geordies are famous for their friendliness, for new people that join the community of Newcastle upon Tyne. Just a few other rankings. So we're in the top 1% of business schools worldwide, and that's because we hold the Triple Crown accreditation. We've got the multicultural campus. You can see the percentage of international and British students, or UK home students as we would call them. Our alumni community stretches across 153 countries, and at the minute we've got 1,100, more than 1,100 actually, students studying or working abroad as part of their placement years. There are actually study abroad opportunities for students who are doing postgraduate programs at the end of the program. So that is something that we can talk about if anyone's interested in that. This is a little bit of where we are. We are, I think, the smallest city to have an international airport. So it means we are super easy to get around both the UK, but also into Europe and even into the Middle East. You can get to Dubai in about 7.5 hours from Emirates. It's one of the places that I do suggest to people to transit through when they're coming into the UK when you start your studies. It means that you get to land in Newcastle Airport, which is a really, really small, easily accessible airport, rather than one of the behemoths, of the Gatwicks and the Heathrows, where it can be quite overwhelming if that's your first introduction to the United Kingdom. We are at the top of England, but we're in the middle of the United Kingdom. So from a location perspective, you can get to London, for example, in just 2.5 hours. There is a beautiful train journey that you can take between Newcastle and Edinburgh. It takes about an hour and a half. So, we want you to be a tourist while you're here. It's not just about being a student. We want you to build a life and have that experience of the region, but also the United Kingdom when you take your time. A few of my favourite photos that I like to share. Long Sands Beach is about 25 minutes by metro. There's only 3 cities in the United Kingdom that have a metro system. One of them is London, and we are another one. It's not as big as London, and I visited other cities in the world where the metro systems are enormous. So we only have 2 lines, but that metro system does get you to a lot of different places, and one of them is the beach. We've got the Millennium Bridge, which does have, it can move, so it winks like an eye. Jesmond Dean is a beautiful place to walk if you just want to, feel like you're outside of the city, but you actually don't have to go very far. It's within walking distance from the city centre. We have Alnwick Castle, and I'm at some point, I know that this is going to get old, but if anyone's a fan of Harry Potter, then this was the inspiration for Hogwarts Castle. So this is just, I'm going to say up the road. It's about an hour and a half up the road from Newcastle. Hadrian's Wall, which was built by the Romans thousands of years ago. And at the time, it was to keep the marauding Scots out of England. Happily, we have a much better relationship with them now, and we welcome them with open arms. But it's a beautiful walk to take. You can actually walk from east to west across the United Kingdom, following Hadrian's Wall. And then Grey Street, the famous tower at the top of Grey Street, and the buildings that you might not expect to find in Newcastle. They look like they would maybe fit more in a city like Bath. But actually our Edwardian style buildings are famous and beautiful, and recognised quite widely by tourists that come here. We are a very historical city, and we've got the coastlines and the countryside. It is one of the safest and friendliest cities. As a female that might sometimes walk around the city at night by myself if I'm going out, I can categorically say I have never felt unsafe in this city, and I'd like to think that our students do feel the same way. We are famous for technology. So historically we were a shipbuilding region and coal mining, but that has then developed into the further technologies that we would develop up here in the northeast. A compact city, I like to say the 20-minute city. You can probably walk at a good pace from one side of the city to the other in around about 20 minutes, and it is really easy to get around. You might be concerned if you hear that we're a small city. I wouldn't be. You don't miss out on anything that you would expect to find in a big city. So we've got museums and art galleries, amazing restaurants, brilliant shopping. We've got the nightlife if you're interested in that. And you get it at a really affordable price point. So you're not having to pay sort of London prices to experience all these sort of things. And of course, we have a Premier League football club and also one of very few cities, and I actually don't know the number, but there are very few cities in the UK that have an actual Chinatown. One of my favorite places to eat. The food is incredible. Having visited China myself, it is a place that I know that I can get food that tastes, proper. We are an academic, research-rich, research-intensive university. It is something that we are passionate about because it informs the education that our students receive, and it means that we are sending them out into the world knowledgeable graduates, and that is important to us. Our subject rankings there do do show that the passion that we put in for our a lot of our different subject areas, especially in our master's portfolio. And we do have a variety of subject groups available to people who are interested. So we do have the accounting and finance, and we've got economics, entrepreneurship and innovation, information systems and operations, leadership, work and organizations, and of course, marketing. Now, you will have, at some point in the past, you will have decided that master's study is for you. There are many reasons why you might have wanted to consider master's study. It might be, for example, you're really interested in a particular subject area and you want to develop your knowledge further. You might not be sure about what you want to do, and so you want to complement your bachelor's study with something that will broaden the scope of employment opportunities that you might have. It may be that you want to do something quite bespoke and specific like economics, and that requires you to have, quite a unique skill set and go quite a lot more in depth into the world of economics to really set you up for success when you are graduating. There might be different reasons. It might be that actually you're not ready to go into the big wide world of work, and that is absolutely fine. Spend a little bit more time in education, really cement that knowledge so that when you do come to graduate, you are confident in your skills, not just academic skills, but that you grow as a person, especially when you move from one country to the next. It might be that you're already here and that you want to stay. One of your academics might have said to you, do you know, academia might be the way forward for you. You've got a real passion for research. You might want to consider that journey potentially to a PhD and even coming into academia. It might just be you're not sure what you want to do yet. And these are all really good reasons for undertaking further education because there's never anything wrong with bettering yourself, even if it's because you're not sure what you want to do. I've spoke a bit about, the benefits of master's study. Obviously, it's complementing your undergraduate study. So if you've already done, for example, an engineering or a computer science bachelor's, it can be a really good idea to complement that with something that is business related because it demonstrates to employers that you do have that broad set of skills, both in academia, but also those soft skills that you would want to get. You might want to improve your management technique because you've done more of a technical bachelor's. And so learning more about being a manager so that you can progress within your career is one thing that master's study can help with. We talk about a dissertation, so this is your thesis or your big project. That is one way to showcase your specific skills or interest going into the world of work, showcasing to a set of companies that you might want to be involved with to say, look, this is a an area that I've really gone and deep dived into, and this relates to the kind of work that you do. So it's a match. You can do work experience potentially. We've got a number of internships that are available, paid internships, but then there's the opportunity for yourself to reach out to our employer network, and offer yourself for volunteering, potentially, getting paid internships off your own initiative. We ourselves, we hire student business ambassadors. You're going to meet 3 of them today. And they can talk to you about the work opportunities that they have had. We have a careers team. Now, as a university, I think we've got the largest careers team of a university in the United Kingdom, and ours win awards. They all have to be professional careers counsellors. They take certification to ensure that they are continually up to date with what employers are looking for so that they can give you the best possible advice to make you as employable as you can be. You know, if you're studying certain areas such as accounting and finance, marketing, for example, then you'll recognize some of these accreditations. You can work towards exemptions depending on the module pathway that you take. That would very much be described to you by the academics when you join the program. You might have already started an accreditation, for example, CFA, and you may want to work towards further exemptions by doing a master's. So you're gaining both a master's and being closer to being a chartered financial accountant, for example. There are differences, of course, between bachelor's undergraduate study and master's study. There is a much more in-depth skill set that you would develop because you're going to go more in-depth into a specific subject area when you do master's study. Our method of teaching is to combine not just the theory but also real life study. So whether that's live case studies, whether that's taking trips into business, whether that's, you know, doing a consultancy piece, it's being able to apply that knowledge that you're gaining so that you're able to understand how it works in the workplace rather than just having the knowledge but not knowing what to do with it. You know, we do ask you to become more involved in your critical thinking, synthesizing the ideas and also innovative ways of you know, addressing a problem or, you know, looking at the viewpoint of what might be the accepted viewpoint, but offering up your own opinions to those viewpoints. It is fast paced and there is quite a lot of independent study. And so you will be expected to manage your time, you know, around the timetable that you're provided. I always say, think of it like a full-time job. If you're not in a lecture or taking part in group work, start on one of your assignments, do some of the recommended reading, you know, maybe read a journal article, take some notes. So if you're constantly working towards the deadlines that you've got, then that actually maybe frees up some of your time. And also, importantly, it can be really impactful on managing stress levels, you know, and the load on mental health, which is, you know, we don't want to overload that. You do get a lot of extracurricular opportunities in postgraduate study. So we call them treks. So we will again take you out to companies, you get those networking opportunities. We might bring employers in to do keynote speeches, to maybe take part in some sort of module teaching. They may come and be part of an employer fair where you can go and meet potential employers and have them come to you rather than you have to reach out to them. You will be in class less than you expect. Bachelor study can be quite intensive, but you know, there may be what you sort of like feel is the comfort zone of being able to told what to read, you know, where you should be up to, you know, and every activity is built into your schedule. At master's level, you are expected to be a little bit more sort of like self-guided in the ability to do that in the same way that you would be if you were working on projects and things in the workplace. So that emphasis on independent research. We do small group teaching, so the classroom sizes are smaller. There will be the workshops and the seminars where you will get the opportunity to go back over the lectures that you will have attended and bounce ideas off each other. And that's often probably a way that some students say they learn best, because the lecture is very much you know, it's a giving of information, but it's quite a lot of information all at once. And so you might not, you know, you might not be able to take it in all at once. So there might be something that you think you might have grasped, but you're not sure if you're on the right pathway. These seminars and workshops are a really good opportunity to listen to how other people took it, have an academic present, and then really have that cemented that, yes, I did, I got it, I grasped it, I knew what I was talking about. But it's nice to have that confidence. We work over 3 semesters, so September to September. You would be doing your dissertation over, we call it the summer months. So your teaching would finish around May, June time, depending on the program. And then you'd finish up your summer completing assignments, potentially doing exams, especially if it was more of an economics and accounting and finance style program. and then your dissertation or your consultancy project, depending on the final sort of like big piece of work or capstone project that we talk about that you'll be doing over the summer. And it is a longer dissertation. So it is more of a research piece, and it is a stepping stone. If you wanted to move into that PhD area, you can then, use your master's thesis as a stepping stone into further PhD research. Now, some of the ways that we support your transition from master's studies with us is we don't just offer the academic support. There's professional and personal support as well. So when you're coming here, there is visa advice. Obviously, we have the student accommodation team, and there's English language support as well. So even though you have met the requirements because you've been made an offer and you meet the IELTS qualification or the English language test that you've taken, academic language, English language is different to conversational day-to-day business language. So the library put on different skills courses to help you understand how to utilize academic English. You might find that's built into your timetable. It will be non-credit bearing, so it won't go towards your final marks, but it is very much an expectation that you would be there, especially if it is a program that uses,